Here are the things I learned reading the book entitled Sign Off by Mix Jose. Why you choose to be a seafarer.
There are different reasons why we choose to be a seafarer, but 90% of that reason is because of money. We want to become rich.
But what is your definition of being rich?
There are different aspects of being rich in life: financial, spiritual, time, family, and health.
You may rich financially, but you're not in good terms with your children. We seafarers have money, but many of the aspects of our lives are sacrificed. We have a house, but we don't live in it. We have a car, but we don't drive it. We have a lovely wife, but she sleeps alone in the bedroom. We can afford to have a big celebration for our children's birthday, but we can't afford to be present during the event. So our goal is to retire rich and early from seafaring. Or let me rephrase it. Our goal is to retire early and wealthy. Being rich is having money, but being wealthy is having money and time. You can be rich through seafaring, but it can also make you wealthy. I remember what our facilitator said before during our paedos. He said that
life at sea is not easy. We sacrifice our time for money. That's why as early as we can, we should invest and plan to make a business. Be with your family, because we can earn the money but we can't turn back the time. Make your seafaring a stepping stone to make a business and build your wealth to have money and time.
But no matter how financial literate you are, if your family don't have the same goals and priorities with yours, everything will be useless. It should be both you and your family to work together with your wealth. This is the most common problem of UFW. Families or even relatives think that you earn a lot because you earn dollars. So it is not a problem to spend money. But no matter how much dollars you earn, if you spend the same or too much from what you earn, your money will not be enough. Here's the story of Jordan in the book. Jordan entered the Academy for Seafarers. He decided to be practical. After he graduated, he experienced the hardships of the sea. He got promoted as third officer. He got married and had 2 children. His expenses started increasing, but good thing he got promoted as second officer. He got the biggest loan that he can to buy his dream house and car. Eventually his budget becomes tight.
I have to get promoted again.
He takes the exam, passes, and becomes a chief mate. After he got promoted, he bought another property. His income increases, but so does his expenses. His children go to high school and his expenses rise again.
I'm tired of this. I want more options. Maybe I should start a business and take a longer vacation.
The problem is that his expenses are too high. His savings go down and drain after 2 months on vacation. The car and house mortgage is eating up his savings. His wife said,
"Go on board."
And he goes on board again.
When will I go home? I want to sign off now.
He realized that there's still 9 months left till the end of his contract.
I want to start a business.
Finally, he goes home. But he doesn't start a business, because the funds went to their trip.
I'll do it next year, I promise.
Next year comes, but again, he spent the money for a new car. Then he goes on board again. This goes on for 35 years more. Never starts a business, always running out of money on the first month of vacation. When finally, his career is over.
I am home.
No one is inside the house. All of his children are already working. No more source of money but his pension, he asks himself.
What the hell happened to my life?
Later on, he discovers he is sick, because of all the stress and fumes he inhaled on board a chemical tanker.
Geez, what a way to end the career.
Stop wasting your money as well as your time, start investing it. As what I also learned from Rich Dad Poor Dad, don't work for money, make it work for you. Don't pressure yourself to go on board because you need money. Make another source of income, build a business that can sustain you without seafaring. So that going on board will be no longer an obligation, but it will be optional. Make yourself free. In the book, there is a security guard who knew nothing in the business but wants to start a business. From its salary, the capital for his business was so hard to accumulate. But he was able to do so, and now he's running a multi-million peso business. Us, seafarers, we earn bigger than most. If a security guard can start a business and accumulate capital, I'm sure we can too. Business can be learned if you have the courage and willingness, like the security guard. In the book, the author shares what his mentor told him.
If I were to give you 10 million pesos but you need to cut your arm off, would you go for that deal?
Of course not. I'll keep my arm. Thank you very much, but it is not worth it.
Let's sweeten the deal then. 50 million pesos for those two nice arms. Deal?
No, it's not worth it. No amount of money can convince me to cut my own arm off.
Then why are you giving your whole body, your time, your family, and your whole life for $4,000? That's the salary of a second mate, right?
I know there is no easy job, but try to weigh all things. Don't settle for less. If there is something that can be more favorable for you, then go for it. Did you know that if you sailed for 30 years, the average time you spend at home is only 5 years? Now, I want you to own that 30 years, and not that 5 years. Get a pen and paper, and start planning your business. Start planning your life. Don't be like others who think that they will start a business after retirement. Business can be a years of trial and error. Don't make it too late to live your life to the fullest. The beauty of starting now is the factor of time. If you could invest early, the more time your business grows. The longer you delay, the more money you waste. To become rich, let us know what's the difference between poor and rich. How does poor spend their money, and how does rich handle their money? This is the formula used by poor seafarers. Income equals expenses plus liabilities. After their 9-month contract, they spend their money in expenses and liabilities. They pay for school fees, house bills, and they spend for cars, gadgets, and travels. When they ran out of money, they will ask for line up, but delays and 3 months vacation can happen. So, they will borrow money and be in debt. Back on board again, and cycle continues. Pay the money they borrow, pay for school fees, house bills, and spend for cars, gadgets, and travels. When they get promoted, income increases, but expenses and liabilities increase as well. Spend for bigger house, more cars, gadgets, and spend for things that they don't really need. Be in debt, and again, cycle continues. It is okay to spend all the money that you work hard and do all the things that you want, but ask yourself if you're really happy with that cycle of life. Going on board for 30 years, but enjoying only the 5 years of it. This is the formula used by rich seafarers. Income equals asset greater than expenses plus liabilities. Assets should be greater than expenses and liabilities. What is asset? It is anything aside from work that gives you money. These are purchases that leads to wealth accumulation. Apartment houses, water refilling stations, restaurants, investments, stocks, mutual funds, bonds, shares, etc. Know your priorities. Differentiate your wants and needs. If your wants are not necessary for a moment, then remove it from your list. Track your expenses. Make it smaller as possible. Before spending for your expenses and liabilities, assets must be the first on the list. Save first, spend later. Set financial goals. save money to build assets. Then the remaining will be for your expenses. It is the money we spend to survive: food, shelter, clothing, education, bills. Then if there's still left, it can be for liabilities. It is the money we spend for our wants. These are not mandatory expenditures. We can live without it. Don't make assets be the last on your list, then expenses and liabilities, because for sure, there will be no left for assets. It will turn into formula of poor.